My friends, are we live? There it is, guys. We got our video, we got our audio, I hope. Just let me know if the audio's good, as I'm just kind of getting sorted out again. If you guys were with me the last few streams, then yeah, we had a couple of technical difficulties, but how's everybody doing? What's going on? What's good? Today we are going to answer some questions, some gear questions, camera, lenses, whatever you want, lighting, flash, whatever. And I also thought, I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of been a little bit demotivated the last few days. I wanted to share some of the photos that I've taken recently and maybe just hopefully inspire you. And I would love to see your guys' stuff too. So again, make sure you guys join the community and hit that like and subscribe button. Join our online groups and whatnot, so we can all share and grow together. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I also wanted to rip through a few of my award-winning photos from the last few years. And if you guys are interested in that, I don't know if you love competing in photo competitions, but I am super passionate about it. I think there's few ways to grow faster than that, you know, to have your heart and soul ripped apart and grow from there. So I thought I'd show you guys what I put out there and what happened. So let's refer to the chat. Audio's fine, that's great news. Video's good. How is everybody? What's going on? Mr. Camera Junkie, how's it going, buddy? Lev, we've got John LeCurie, Eyes 5 or Eyes V. Welcome, guys. Bloodshade, Vincent. What's going on, guys? So yeah, shoot your questions down in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for tuning in on this glorious day. I noticed that my audience, for the most part, is actually on in the morning time from like 5 a.m. to pretty much 11, which is crazy to me because I'm on the West Coast, but I guess a lot of, I don't really know what's going on. So are you guys, is this a good time for you? Is this your typical browsing time? I wanted to kind of know that because that was a bit surprising to me. I thought a lot of people were West Coast people, but maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, let's dive into some questions here if we have any, guys. If you have any lens questions, if you need help deciding on what to go with or whatever, let's do that. Let's see if we have any so far. So lots of thumbs up. Yeah, man, the Viltrox, love that thing. 1.6, buddy. There's a firmware update. I don't know if you saw it, but pretty cool. And here it is. I'm going to give it away. I don't know if you know that. If you're not a subscriber, all you got to do is be subscribed. And in the next little bit here, I just wanted to confirm that this live stream thing was, going decently before I, did some giveaways and stuff. So I'm giving this bad boy away to one of you guys. So all the best of luck with that. And I got some cool new stuff as well. People keep sending me stuff, so I'm going to try and give away as much as I can. Got this new Godox light. It's like a little R1, I think it's called, which is kind of neat. It's a little RGB light. Pretty cool stuff, man, that they're coming up with in such a tiny little package. And just to be creative, if you're a filmmaker, man, these things are so good. I use these literally all the time. And, from different, look at that. It's set up to respond to music and whatnot. You name it. If you think of it, they've done it already. You've got different siren lights and all sorts of cool stuff, fire. And then, of course, just your typical, you can pick your color temperature and all that kind of stuff. So if you don't have one of these, man, and you're a photographer or into video, I totally suggest grabbing one of these little RGB lights. You can throw it in your bag. It weighs nothing. But, yeah, I'm going to give away a few in the coming weeks here just because why not? I think it's a great tool. And if you don't have one, well, keep your eyes out for that. So, yeah, let's head back and see if... let's see what questions we got, guys. So yeah, Viltrox, if you're considering it, man, if you don't win it, just pull the trigger. It's a fantastic lens for all sorts of stuff. I don't have one bad thing to say about it other than the weather sealing. That does bug me, but optically and performance-wise, it's a fantastic lens. They just released the version 2, which I haven't seen. I haven't got that in my hands yet, but that's kind of exciting. I doubt there'll be a 1.6 update for that just yet, but you never know. So yeah, I would totally recommend the Viltrox for sure, especially if you're on a huge budget. PDAF stripping on Sony mirrorless. How to prevent it or fix it? PDAF striping. What do you mean by that? Are you talking about banding? Is that what you're talking about? Let me know. And I wonder, how many of you guys are streamers? How many of you guys stream, and how long did it take to be set up and comfortable with that? There's quite a lot to know to make it smooth, I guess. It's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. I love to connect with you guys. Let me know about that. Thinking about the 100 to 400 and 1.4 teleconverter for landscape. Dude, no thought. Just buy it. It's a phenomenal lens. It's right here. It's probably one of my favorite lenses ever. I gotta say, I literally take it everywhere. I go for a walk, I take it. I was out yesterday with it, and for landscape, absolutely. I wish I would have got a couple landscape photos ready for you yesterday, but I was out shooting landscape with it. So yeah, absolutely. The teleconverter, you're gonna lose a little bit of sharpness on the long end, but for versatility and size and stuff, you're not gonna beat it. I love that thing. So yeah, I would never say no to that lens. That lens is one of my best investments. So, Sigma 150 to 600 on the Sony a6400. No, I don't, but I do know about it on the a7 III because I shot with it for years. I even won some competitions with it, actually. Yeah, it's if you've seen a couple of my videos, I upgraded to the 100 to 400 from the Sigma 150 to 600, and it's in a different universe. The Sigma, you'll need an adapter, of course, and it's completely usable. You're just not going to get the autofocus performance that you would out of something native, and that goes for anything adapted as far as I'm concerned. People can get away with it, but it's next level with that with the Sony. So if you're on a huge budget and you're not too concerned with shooting crazy birds in flight and stuff, then absolutely. The 6400 has a great autofocus system, so it's going to be more than adequate for that. But hopefully that answers your question. And it do cover a little bit on my review of the Sigma with the adapter. So, oh man, look at that. $2 from i5 or IV. Buddy, that's my first my first chat money thing. So thanks for that, bud. I appreciate it. Completely unnecessary, but I'm very grateful for it. Helps to feed the family and buy toilet paper and whatever, all the other stuff that's extinct these days. But yeah, man, thanks so much. That's pretty cool. What else we got here? Bloodshade has been streaming a lot, going away from it. I don't know, man, it's kind of fun. I like to connect with people. If you're stuck inside, this is a great way to just kind of connect. What else we got? I'm on YouTube all the time working from home. Yeah, man, you, me, and a lot of people. I've kind of tripled down on this since the whole lockdown thing. I think it's working out pretty good. I'm growing pretty quick here, which is awesome for everybody. Will you do a review on the 70 to 182.8? For sure I will, absolutely. That thing, for the cost, looks really great. Hey, Jake Sloan's here again. Hey, Jake. Jake Sloan has a review on it if you want to check that out. He just posted it a couple days ago. He's also a fellow YouTuber up from Alaska, so make sure you guys check out his channel. Or is it Jack? Jack or is it Jake? I can't seem to pronounce it. Yes, I will. As soon as I get my hands on it, hopefully I get sent one, but I'll probably have to end up buying it like everything else. What else we got, guys? PDAF stripping. Isolated from a few Sony mirrorless and it's bugging some of my shots. Yeah, I don't really know. I've never experienced anything like that. You know, the banding obviously is kind of common, but quick Google search will be able to help you with that, depending on your shooting style, if you're shooting indoors or whatever. But I'll look into that for you. I'm not really sure. John LeCurie wants to get into real estate. Do you think the 17 mil on the Tamron is wide enough? It's borderline, buddy. I gotta say, I have a lot of real estate background. I'm a realtor in another universe actually, and I shoot the 16 to 35 f4. 17 is just a little bit. There's a big difference when you start to get to the ultra wides. Every millimeter makes such a big difference. You can get away with it, absolutely. People get away with much less, but if you're really getting into professionally, maybe look into the Sigma, the 14 to 24, just for the versatility, because sometimes you want to, if you got a massive room or a tiny room and you want to fit everything in that photo, you want to have that option. But the 17, the only thing that I really don't like about the 17 to 28 is it's not a huge focal range. It's really limited to 28 instead of the 35. But it's sharp, it's small, but the price is right. So hopefully that answered your question on that guy. I do have a video on some real estate lenses and some alternatives, so check that out. There's pretty much all your options for Sony shooting. What else, guys? Hey, check this out, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Hopefully that came up there, but I set up my streaming thing, so I'm gonna get the actual setup a little bit better, hopefully, but how cool is that, right? The Stream Deck. What else we got? Tell me about the giveaways, 2020 Filmworks. Buddy, I'm giving away stuff left, right, and center. Yeah, we've got the Viltrox giveaway right now, the 85 1.8. And I'm also giving away a Nisi or whatever you call it, close-up lens. You can attach this to any lens that's 77 millimeter filter threads, or bigger or smaller, depending on which step up and down filter you have, and it turns your lens into macro lens. Really cool stuff and really good quality. So I'm going to be doing a video on that soon and giving that away. I got some lights to give away. I've got some Luminar 4 subscriptions to give away. I just gave away one to Charisse, I think her name is, one of you subscribers. So yeah, all you got to do is just hang out and put your input in. I want to hear what you guys have to say, help people. I always try and give more than I get out of this, and whatever that is. It's just fun. So yeah, I got lots of giveaways happening all the time, and the more people send me, the more I give away. So, and I also have deals with companies for money off and stuff like that. Luminar 4, for example. Check out any of my video descriptions, and you'll see you can save at least $10 if you decide to go that route, and all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, one of the perks of doing this, putting in 80 hours a week for very little, you get to give away some stuff. All right, guys, let's check out some other comments in here. What memory cards do you have? Memory cards, yeah. I shoot with the, I shot with Lexar forever, and I have a couple of those and a lot of the SanDisk, you know, Extreme Pro or whatever. People, I see comments all the time, people cheaping out on memory cards. It doesn't make any sense. You just blew all this money on a beautiful camera. It's like putting sand in a Ferrari. Put the money into the things that matter, like lenses, like your memory cards. It makes a huge difference, right? You're not gonna wanna pull your hair out when your buffer's filling up super fast or you're transferring files. It's just not worth it, guys. Missing that amazing shot because you cheaped out on 12 bucks? No. Buy the best and the most available that you can possibly buy, and you'll thank yourself later. That's my 2 cents anyways. Let's go back to the comments here. What would be your go-to lens for product photography? That's a great question. I've been shooting more and more product photography, and honestly, when I go to the studio, the 90mm macro ends up on my camera so much of the time. I love to shoot the details, and this thing is just, I love it. It's amazing, especially if you have a little bit of space because 90 isn't, it's not exactly a wide lens, so you gotta have a little bit of space, but if you're getting in there and you're shooting different aspects of it, you can't beat it, I swear to God. So that thing is so good. I would recommend that to pretty much anybody. It's even good for food, of course, food photography, all sorts of stuff. So that'd probably be my go-to, the 90 in a lot of cases, and depending on the setup, if I need something, a bit wider, yeah, I might just throw my Tamron on there, the 28-75 or the Sigma 24-70. I'm not too picky. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question, bud. Rio, welcome, bud. Oh, that was your question. Cool. Who's Ralph? It's a good question as well. Let's answer this question. Do you think Sony will release the new A7S or the A7 IV next? What makes more business sense given the pandemic? I'm thinking the A7 IV. Yeah, that's a good question. I just released a video on the A7 IV, just my thoughts, and hopefully, I know Sony's listening, so they do take our stuff into consideration. That's a tough one. I don't think there's any rush right now just because everybody's hurting so bad and production slowed and, gathering materials for production is slowed and everybody's losing money left, right, and center. So there's not a huge rush. We can't even go outside really. So which one makes more sense? Probably because of the pressure that Canon and everybody's putting on, especially Canon, of course, on Sony. I would like to see the A7S III announced, but having said that, I don't want them to rush it out the door and then everybody's disappointed because, we know how that goes. And then nobody's ever really happy. There's no perfect camera, but I would love to see an A7 IV, but I don't think it's going to be, if it was released in the next 6 months or whatever, it's not going to be that huge jump like the A7 II to the A7 III was. I think it's going to be like the A9 to the A9 II or the A7 III to, well, the A7 III, the A7 IV is pretty substantial. That thing is amazing. And again, the second that they give us smaller RAW file sizes, I'm going to buy that thing, I swear to God. In the next couple months, if I don't have anything, I've been eyeing that thing forever, and that might be the one. So my money's on, my heart wants the A7 IV, but for all you crazy video shooters that don't need anything to do with 6K and 8K and all that stuff, I hope you guys get that. And again, the R5, stop comparing it to it. It's not out yet. It was even delayed, and we have no real concrete anything on that camera. So, but the pressure's on, and that's good too. So hopefully that answered it, guys. What else we got? Oh, the age-old. Good, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Cherry and Trevor for the audio. And again, I changed literally nothing except, yeah, nothing. I don't know why it was doing that last time, but Sigma over the Tamron. Again, totally going to be your decision. I'll just go over the points quickly. Look at the size difference. It's not huge at first look, but it's bulkier, it's heavier, it's bigger. This is a bigger lens, and if that makes a big difference to you, if you're going to be carrying this around and you're easily fatigued, go with this. Optically, the image quality you're not going to really notice unless you're a pixel peeper, pretty much. This has nicer bokeh. But literally, I film so much of my stuff. I've shot thousands and thousands of pictures with the Tamron. For the price, you can't beat it. If you're just getting started out, you're looking for a first standard zoom, boom, I totally recommend that. If you do if you do video and you want all the bells and whistles, I love the manual focus switch. The button's nice, and manual focus pulls are really nice on the Sigma. So if you do a lot of manual video, then consider the Sigma. But they're both great. You really can't go wrong. But size is a factor for me a lot of the time, and even having them both, I still go with the Tamron a lot of the time. I have both. I just shoot with whatever. It's like, feels good today, I'll just take that one. So hopefully that answers your question. What else we got? Best frame rate for B-roll. Oh boy, that totally depends. Everybody's got a different style. You know, it really depends on what you're shooting. If you're shooting product, are you on a slider? Are you handheld? Are you on a gimbal? It totally makes a difference. So for me, I find myself pretty much shooting 24 or 120, pretty much. 120, at least, you know, I don't have to do as much, I don't have to worry about as much editing. I don't particularly like using warp stabilizer too much. I find that, you know, if you got autofocus on, if you're not using manual, I hate the outcome of it. So 120 is just kind of convenient, and it really depends on your shooting style, what you're shooting. There's just so many factors, but I find myself for the most part 24 or 120. Hopefully that answers your question. Any current cheap camera is good for beginners. Hero shots. Yeah, tons of cameras good for beginners right now. A60, depending on your budget, A6400 is a fantastic camera, but even the A6100, the newer one, it's great for just straight up photography. It is fantastic, and it's always on sale now. It's a great little camera. But you can't really go wrong these days. Like most newer cameras are going to do everything that you need. And if you're literally brand new, it's going to be a while before you outgrow any of these. So check out the A6100 if you've got a little bit more money, the 64, or if you've got money's not a big deal. The 6600 is a fantastic camera with IBIS and a way better battery. But yeah, and this is just Sony we're talking to, right? We've got so many other people. I just naturally go to Sony because I'm a Sony shooter right now. And cameras, or Canon, you know, you've got your T line, your T7, 9, whatever it is, T7i and stuff. You can't go wrong with those either. That's what I started on. I had a T3, and then I had an 80D, and then from the 80D I went to Sony a7 III. Huge upgrade, and yeah, you'll know when you outgrow your camera. What is going on here? All right, hopefully that answers your question, guys. Curious to see these photos. Yeah, if you guys want to take a look at some photos, we can dive into that. Yeah, absolutely. 60 to 120 slow motion. What's your workflow for selecting deleting photos? Oh, 200 gigabytes. That's cute. I just bought a 8 terabyte hard drive like 3 days ago because I had literally like 10 gigs left. I am sitting at about I think about 6 terabytes full, and because of all the video I'm shooting now on YouTube and stuff, it's literally exponential. It's mind-blowing how much stuff when you start to shoot video. But for photos, yeah, you're taking a lot of photos. Bring them into Lightroom if you've got Lightroom, of course. Go through the ones, select your best, and delete the rest. You know, I'm pretty critical nowadays. I don't shoot as much as I used to. But take a few different ones, pick the best one. If they're slightly variation, just keep the one, and then kind of go from there. Don't keep every one of them because it's overwhelming in the future. I promise you. So hopefully that made sense, guys. Scoops on Sony rumors. You know what? I did get a pretty cool rumor sent to me. I don't know if it's credible or anything. I'm going to wait on it a little bit, just for a couple more days. The guy actually emailed me and said something crazy, and then said he's going to email me again in a few days. I don't know if he works for Sony or what, and it could be complete garbage, but kind of neat that somebody emailed me something, but I don't have anything concrete or worth mentioning at this point. There was something that Sony Alpha Rumors just announced, some miniature little vlogging camera. I don't know if you saw that. It may or may not have built-in ND filters and whatnot. It's not an interchangeable lens camera, so it's not going to be of interest to a lot of people, but kind of neat. And it's neat to see Sony expanding a little bit, but come on, guys, let's give us what we want. Let's amalgamate some stuff into one, you know? Maybe they're going to ditch the A7S line altogether and put it in the A7, you know, 4. Wouldn't that be crazy? Would you spend a little bit more if it gave you that 4K 60? Could we ditch that line altogether so we just have the professional line of Sony cameras? Because do we need professional cameras and then a semi-professional mirrorless and then in decent mirrorless that is good for 99% of people? I don't know. And for me, I don't need an S3. I'm not a huge, you know, video guy by any means, but I think for the most part, 99% of people would be just fine if the A7 III or the A7 IV had 4K 60. You know, give it 4K 120, make it $3,200 or $3,000. I think people would still buy it. And then, yeah, for the R4, give us smaller file sizes. You sell more cameras. Anyways, we're just going off the rails here, guys. Let's look at a few more. What video editor do I use? A7 video setting. Yeah, I can do that if you want. Give you. I do also rate my photos with stars as well. I do that, and I usually just do like 1 for keeper. And if it's either 1 or 5, pretty much, because if I'm keeping it, it's 1. If it's, you know, competition worthy, that's the way I look at it. When I take a photo, could this be in a competition? Could I win? And that's the way I kind of organize my photos. Good point. Whoever said that, John DHG, thanks for that, buddy. What video editor do I use? I use Premiere Pro, Adobe stuff, and yeah, I love it. I think it's great. It's everything that I need. Haven't ventured into After Effects or anything yet. I just don't do that much video to be overwhelmed and need an even better computer. Let's see what else we got. Any thoughts on a lightweight telephoto on the A7 IV, on the A7 IV, A7 III, or R4? The 70 to 350 is fantastic, but it's a crop lens. You're not going to throw that on your full frame. I don't recommend that. Absolutely not. Look at the 100 to 400. Put a teleconverter on there if you need a crazy big one, but that lens is my favorite lens. I love it. So it's pretty darn lightweight, but you're not going to, you know, the 70 to 300 isn't the same caliber or quality. It's just not. But again, if you're not pixel peeping and stuff, it's going to be great, but it's not going to be the same autofocus. It's not going to be the same quality that you get out of something like this. But again, size is a factor too. It might be, right? Okay, let's answer a few more, and then we'll dive into our excuse me, our photos, so you guys can see what I've been doing lately and rip apart some award-winning photos. Okay. Viltrox 85 Mark 1 versus Mark 2. Absolutely, I can do that if I get my hands on it. If Viltrox sends me one, I would absolutely do that. Okay, what is the best cheap lens for Canon cameras? Best and cheap lenses. Oh, buddy. Help me with this one. You get what you pay for. The nifty 50 if you're just getting started. Throw a 50 1.8 on there. Learn how to use your aperture. You know, play with your depth of field. That's what I recommend to most people. Your first lens should be a standard zoom, and then get a fast prime and see what you like shooting with more. But the nifty 50, you can't really go wrong. You can pick it up for a couple $100 or less, especially for Canon. And yeah, that's what I recommend. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Cameron. I appreciate it, buddy, your support. Yeah, the Viltrox. It's a good budget lens, man. All right, what else we got? Sony needs to consolidate their offerings. They might. Okay, guys, so if there's nothing, you know, too pressing, if you don't want anything else answered, let's jump in and check out some of my photos here to see what we've been doing lately. All right, let's dive in and check it out. Let's see if I can get this figured out right. We're gonna go over here. I'm gonna open that. We're going to press this, and then we're going to switch over to that, and hopefully that worked. I'm going to confirm it on my other screen here, but yeah, again, still kind of diving in between getting this thing set up. But if you guys saw my dandelion video, I actually got together with a couple other YouTubers and we shot dandelions 3 different ways. So just kind of neat, something different. And this is some of the results from that. So just blending them together, nothing too crazy, right? And here's a couple other ones. I've been shooting a lot of macro at home lately. And this one is actually from a glass orb, and I put a little bit of a painterly effect on it. Just kind of neat. So neat what comes up. Every time is completely different. It's such a cool process and it's really easy. Literally anybody, oh no, we lost the audio. Can you hear me now? Let's have a look at what's going on. I'm back. Okay, good. So guys, I was just asking if somebody could tell me what this picture is. Tell me what is in this photo, and the first person to do so is going to win something. And I'm not sure why the audio cut out there, but hopefully it's back, and let me know if it's still good quality and whatnot. Anybody know what this is? Nailed it, guy with camera. It is soap. Super easy, super cool, and like I said, if you do video of this, I could watch it for hours. It's so neat to see all this stuff happening. Every time you make a bubble is completely different. I could take 1,000 pictures and they'd all be unique and crazy. And you can actually print this. I saw one printed on metal, like acrylic, and it was outstanding. I think I might actually do that because it's just such a cool kind of look, and I love the psychedelic kind of look, cranking that saturation and whatnot. But yeah, I will go back. Who won? Camera guy with camera, buddy. Email me, and I'm going to give you something. So let's go to the next one. Hopefully we are okay with our audio here. There's another one. Again, same thing, soap and water. Kind of neat. This guy is a shell, actually, more macro photography. Just kind of playing around with some shells. And again, love the mother of pearl and just how it shines, and obviously crank the saturation here. Just kind of something different and neat. And these are things just laying around the house. Next one here, we've got kind of some long exposure with a sparkler. And all I've done here is just kind of played with the color temperature a bit. So if you guys are looking for stuff, this is just trying to get you guys motivated a bit. Like I said, the last couple of days I've just kind of felt blah, and I got my camera out, but I'm just not doing anything with it. So yeah, it's the best way to improve is just to pick something. If you see a photo on there or something that you love, it looks awesome. Yeah, it's the setup is the biggest part, but that's how we improve. You learn a new technique, and then the next time you do it, it's just a piece of cake. So yeah, long exposure, macro, kind of neat. Be very careful if you're using sparklers though, because it's so hot. I did it on a glass and it actually burnt through the glass. I had to actually like totally polish it out because it was so hot. It was crazy. And here's just a few more macro photos. You know, kitchen utensils and whatnot, something a little bit different. More of the dandelion, just setting stuff on fire. And this is all timing. If you guys have some dandelions to play around with, it's literally, you have a quarter of a second to take that photo and that thing's gone. So you're gonna have to have a couple. And again, in the studio here, I threw this together. This is obviously with some editing done. And this is one photo, but I just kind of took out the background. I did blend some photos together, and just with some photos, focus stacking. And these little guys, rest in peace, are not alive, unfortunately. I got a little dead critter collection, and of course, you know, I didn't kill them. They were found out in the shed or under the couch or something like that, but kind of makes a neat photo. Here's another variety, and I'm kind of cutting it off, but they are there. There's 4 of them. This guy, this is Oscar. Again, rest in peace. He's not with us anymore, but these are fascinating creatures as well. Any kind of fish I love to photograph. They're pretty tricky because, you know, they're unpredictable and you have to have a lot of patience, but I kind of like how this one came out. Just trial and error. And this one, I didn't even use a flash. I actually used a trusty RGB light and just put it on top of his little enclosure there. So just kind of neat. And again, shoot me questions, guys, if you have any as well. Thanks, buddy. Kind of like it. Again, here's the glass orb again, the glass paperweight. Something a little bit different, getting in there with macro. And this one is paper, believe it or not. Just kind of neat, something simple. Just paper, different lighting. And this was kind of a rush job, but I think I might go back and try some more paper because I've seen some amazing stuff done, just playing with different colors and kind of setups and things. But I kind of like it. It's just neat and abstract. I really like abstract. I like minimalist photography, that kind of stuff. Here's another one, macro shot of just some money, some funny looking Canadian money. Yeah, just having fun with the ordinary. So, like I said, guys, I challenge you. I want to see your stuff. I'm actually gonna maybe make a few photo competitions soon. Why don't we do that? Let's set up a few photo competitions with some themes, and we'll just do some hashtags or something, and I'll give away some stuff to the most creative and the best photo. And I think that's it for this guy. So why don't we, from here, why don't we rip apart, I'll show you guys some of my photos that have won in the last couple years. And I'll just bounce out of that and head over to my other folder. Okay. Hopefully that worked. So hopefully we're back in our other screen, and there's different classes when you're, depending on where you're putting these in. I belong to the Professional Photographers of Canada, which is an association. They have lots of great training and competition, of course, every year. It's a very, very fierce competition, both provincially and nationally. And these are some of the ones that were either accepted or did really well in the competition nationally. And why don't we just rip them apart? So again, I'll take your questions as well. And I want to know who of you guys, who does competitions? I would love to know what you think of them, if you've won, and if not, why aren't you diving in? Because it's such a great way to learn. I know it involves putting yourself out there, but competition is so good. Love it. I'm going to be taking my actual judging training in the next, hopefully the next year. You got to be quite experienced to get that honor, I believe. But yeah, so hopefully that'll be kind of neat. But let's answer a couple questions here, LSD. Not quite. I don't know how you'd capture that. But have you tried the 90 with extension tubes? I actually have, and I've used it with the Nisi close-up lens. Pretty much the same thing, just maybe a little bit different quality, I would say. But I'm doing a video on that, so I'll release that so you can have a look at what that looks like. It's not as extravagant, it's not as dramatic as you'd think, but it does definitely make a difference. So, YouTuber talk, new model lacks. Yeah, exactly. We're back on the R5 all of a sudden. What happened? Okay, let's look at these photos. Anyways, this is a photo. This was animal portrait or something, the category, and it was accepted. And just kind of cute. This was actually my sister's one of my sister's dogs and two of her friends' puppies. And yeah, just kind of neat. There's Mount Baker in the background there. And this one scored an accepted. This one was just nothing special, not even, just decent light. And you got this little puppy here and he's standing on the leash. So it was just kind of trial and error and patience to get him to kind of stand there. So that was accepted. Let's look at what else we got. This guy, this one was taken in one of my favorite places. This was called Heavenly Pastures, I called it. You have to name them and it adds to the whole competition and stuff. But yeah, this field I drive through several times a year when I'm in the interior of BC, and I love it there. It's deserty and there's always dramatic clouds. It's always just beautiful rolling hills and golden. Look at it. How can you not think that's absolutely beautiful? And probably one of my favorite places on the planet, to be honest. And there was this horse, this giant horse that was just standing there in the middle of the field, just standing there forever. And yeah, I had to pull over and take this shot. And this one was accepted as well. And if you're curious what that means, in the PPOC, every association and competition has a different kind of ruling on where the photo ranks, and it's either accepted, a merit, or excellence. And then that kind of goes accepted as, it's accepted into the show, the traveling show, to be, shown. Merit is like a very good photo, and then excellence is obviously just fantastic, outstanding in a lot of regards. So this one was accepted. And yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't really have changed much about it, to be honest. I love this photo, and that's the thing about competition. It's not always going to do well. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You can disagree with the judges all you want, but criticism, constructive criticism, is only going to make you better. If you take it personally and let it rip you down, then you're not going to grow. It's hard to hear, and it's in the judge's hands, but yeah, I love it. So there's my photo. Love that guy. Here's another one. This was also from one of my travels into the interior. This was actually obviously heavily manipulated, but all I've really done here is pull down a lot of the shadows and pretty much black everything out in the foreground, and then just kind of mess with the saturation, the color temperature, just to kind of give it some depth. And this one I think is called Solitary. I think I called it Solitary. But just kind of neat, kind of landscape, fine art looking thing. And yeah, I kind of like it, obviously, and that's why I threw it in there. This one was also accepted. So that actually went to this year's Traveling Showcase. This guy, this is an awesome photo. I love this photo so much, and the story behind it is so good. And for you guys that are starting out, if you are, struggling, I say it in every one of my videos, make mistakes. Do not be scared to make mistakes, because this photo, this award-winning photo, this was an excellence, and I'm covered up by it. Unfortunately, maybe I can get rid of this. But this was an excellence photo, and it's in the fine art category, and obviously it's birds on pillars. I called it Nature and Time Reflecting, was what I named it. And this photo was one of the first photos I actually took with my A7 III, my first mirrorless camera. And obviously there's kind of a learning curve because you've got your live view and stuff. When I set this camera up, and I love this composition, there was water behind it that went on forever, and then mountains in the background. But I had so heavily overexposed it from my last shot that when I turned my camera on, this is pretty much what came out. It was disgustingly overexposed, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. That looks so cool. So my mistake turned into an excellence photo. Then this one actually went to the Loan Collection. So of 40 photos every year in Canada, all the photographers come together in this competition. 40 photos are picked to go to represent Canada in the world of photography, and this is one of them. This is in 2019. One of the ones that went. I actually had 3 last year in representing Canada. So yeah, there you go. Goes to show that even a mistake can turn into something beautiful, and make mistakes all the time. Let's move on to the next one. Any other questions? I've been kind of neglecting the chat, guys, so I'll come back to that in a bit here. But let's just get through the last few. Wrong computer. Here's another one, another fine art, because I don't know, I guess I like fine art. This one is called Prism of Curious Light. And I guess it really doesn't matter what I named it, but I'll try and get this off again so you guys can see the whole. And this scored a merit, so, you know, middle of the line, a lot of judges thought it was kind of neat and creative. And all this really is a prism. You know, we use prisms in photography to be creative sometimes. You can pull them up to your lens and get some really neat light effects. Super cheap, couple bucks. And I just kind of put it there, played with the light, different directions until I thought it was awesome. And then kind of sat back and said, what would make this photo unique and different? What's the feeling behind it? You know, just being creative, being fine art. And fine art doesn't really have to make any sense. And yeah, it did pretty well, and I love this photo. I actually have a print of this one somewhere in my house. Okay, thanks for telling me, but I know the issue for that. If I do lose audio when I switch off that little box there, which is quite annoying for you, I'm sure, I will fix that for the next time. But thanks for the feedback, I appreciate that. And let's move on to our next photo, and I think our last photo. This guy is nature, because I love nature. I've done so much nature photography. I love birds. I live very, very close to a bird sanctuary, and you know, seasonally we get all sorts of beautiful, crazy birds. So this was one I was so fortunate just to sit and be patient next to this beautiful body of water and just have lunch. And 10 minutes in, literally 2 feet beside me, these bird family, this brand new little bird family, came waddling out just right past me and swam out to this little log, and it was just perfect. I love this thing. It was so awesome. And looking back now, again, you grow always. You're always growing and you're always learning. So this image, for me, looking back at it, maybe it was over processed. This was shot on the Sigma 150 to 600. It's definitely got some quality issues, maybe over processing, but it could just be, I'm not sure what it is for me. The top right of the background there is a bit distracting. And I think if I were to maybe edit that, if I was to edit that a little bit better, it would have scored a little bit better, but it did score and accepted. But again, nature is hard to get wrong. It's so beautiful. And 90% of nature is just showing up and being patient. Patient, patient, patient. The 1% of photos that blow you away with nature, that guy's probably sat there for 10 hours or got extremely lucky, because nature isn't patient and it's just putting the time in. If you just get out there expecting to see beautiful, incredible, amazing things happen, it's just probably not going to happen. So those are a couple of my photos that actually scored pretty decently in competition the last couple of years. I have more, but these ones kind of spoke to me. My favorite photo of all time, and the one that is I'm most passionate about, I'm going to make a video on it when I'm good enough to actually do a video good enough on it. And it's the photo that I call it the photo that made me a photographer. It was like at that moment, and it's a very passionate photo for me and a lot of emotion behind it. But I don't know, was there a photo for you guys that, you know, what made you turn to this beautiful, passionate hobby of ours? What was it that you decided one day that I'm doing this? This is what I am now. And for me, it was this one photo, and I'll show you in the future. But it was that moment. I remember seeing it and just being like, "This is what I am now. This is what I do." And there's just nothing better, as far as I'm concerned, than just going out there and capturing time in a perfect, once-in-a-lifetime aspect. And that's what this beautiful art is all about. But let's go back out of there and go back to the chat to see if we can't answer any more of your questions before we wrap up here, and maybe talk about what we're going to give away. So if you do have any questions on anything to do with competition or the photos that you saw or any more gear, let me know. I'll go back and kind of scan here to see what I missed, maybe, guys. And again, thanks for joining me today on this, what is this, Thursday afternoon. I know a lot of people don't have a heck of a lot to do, but it's just cool that we can get together and do this. Do you really need 4K 120? Do you really need it? Do you really need it? Is it something that's going to make such a big difference to your work that it's going to be so much drastically different that the average person is going to be able to tell the difference? Maybe, but doubtful. That's what I'm just saying. Most people with the cameras these days, the A7 III for 99% of people is more than enough. And people, you know, complaining about the, you know, the 8-bit and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but 4K 120 is serious stuff. And you're going to pay for it. Absolutely. What else we got here? Accidental winner, man. Yeah, absolutely. You never know. And it's just so awesome to do that. And you can immediately, you know, beat yourself up or something doesn't look very good. But again, one of the worst things you can do is compare yourself to somebody else as well. That is the worst. If you're in that headspace, then you're not in a creative headspace. You're in a thought of lack, and you're not seeing things as, you know, you're there to see it. So yeah. All right, guys. If there's no more questions, why don't we wrap up here? And if everything's good, give me a thumbs up and make sure you guys hit the like on this video. I don't know what that actually does, but I hear it helps everything. And I want to thank you guys for coming out again. I'm going to give away some of the big stuff in the next couple days here, I think, as long as the audio and the video is good enough, I think. I think we've got everything pretty much dialed in. Cameron, I'll answer a couple more questions, guys, if you have them. 100 to 400 G Master versus the 200 to 600. Yeah, I've got this question so many times. I have what I think is a pretty darn good, really, really in-depth comparison of the two, the buying guide. Check that out if you're having trouble deciding. If you shoot primarily birds and that's all you do and you need the most reach possible, get the 200 to 600. If you, again, it's going to fatigue you because it's massive. But if you don't need only that, if you're only going to shoot that, if you want versatility, if you want to be able to shoot macro and take it into a building without looking like a crazy person and travel and stuff with it, this thing is just amazing. You can't beat it. And throw a teleconverter on there. Yeah, you get f8. Who cares? At 1.4. But yeah, it's a tough one. Again, it's a G Master for a reason. The performance are going to be your splitting hairs. This is probably going to be a little bit more reliable. But the 200 to 600 with a teleconverter on this guy, the 200 to 600 is going to be a tiny bit, little bit sharper. But still, you can't really go wrong. So just decide, do you want to be lugging this huge thing around, or do you want something more versatile? Do I need the absolute most reach that I can get? Or am I going to be shooting landscapes and flowers and portraits and stuff as well? So that's my take on it. All right, guys. Are the giveaways international, Europe, or just US? You know what? I never really thought about that. Why can't they be international? I feel like if you live in Bangladesh in the mountains and shipping's going to be $300, maybe we'll talk about it. But for the most part, I don't mind, you know, if it's reasonable, guys, to get it to you wherever you are. Yeah. All right. One, you able to answer one on, sure. Let's answer a few more. Tamron 28 to 75 versus the 24 to 105. Yeah. Absolutely, another common question. Size is going to be a factor. Let's say that this is going to be your 124 to 105. There's a little bit of a difference. I'd say it's heavier. It's a little bit bigger. It's kind of like comparing it to the Sigma. The Sigma is going to be a little bit bulkier, I think, for me, but they're pretty close. That's probably a better comparison. They're going to be bigger. It's going to have stabilization, which is really nice. And you're going to have, obviously, a wider focal range, not just wider, but longer on the long end. So the 24 to 105 is a fantastic lens. It's got beautiful character, beautiful bokeh. It's not a 2.8, but if you look at the differences side by side, are you really going to notice it? Probably not. If you're looking for a great all-around, all-in-one lens and you don't have very many lenses or the access to them, the 24 to 105 is a fantastic pickup. Great quality, great everything. So hopefully that answered your question, guys. Yeah, you can't win if you don't play the lottery. Yeah. Teleconverter on the Tamron 70 to 180. I don't know about that. I don't know what teleconverters are compatible for that, to be honest. You'd have to check into that. I really don't know. I know Sony's are only compatible with certain lenses, so make sure you do your research before you pull the trigger on that, if that's going to be an issue for you. Is that combo good for shooting rugby? Sure, 70 to 180 is going to be great for sports. Again, it's the size is great. Check out Jake Sloan's review on it again. The lack of stabilization for me, I think is going to be an issue, but from, again, my sports go-to, 100 to 400, hands down. What else, guys? There you go. Thanks, Jake. It does not support Sony teleconverters. I didn't think so. Perseus, appreciate it, bud. Thank you for watching my stuff, man, and being part of the community. That's what this is all about. When's the next live stream? I don't know. I don't know if we should maybe do like a weekly thing, like Jake, but right now it's just kind of random. I'm just trying to get my setup dialed in because obviously, you know, this isn't the best looking setup right now, and trying to dial in my audio and all that stuff. So once I get that down, I think we could probably do a couple days a week, maybe once a week, twice a week. I don't know. We got time on our hands, right? So hopefully that makes sense, guys. And as much as you want, I got time. I got obviously making other content, but if there's, you know, certain topics that you guys would want to cover and talk about, yeah, I'm totally down for that. So let me know, and always leave your comments in my videos too, because I look at all and I try to respond to every single comment that's in my video, guys. So if you have ideas, I want to hear about it, because, you know, the people that watch the videos are the ones that are right, always, right? You know, I just try my best to make what I would like to watch, or what I look for. If I find something that I can't find the answer to, I want to make a video on it. So let me know what you want to see. All right, guys. Okay, well, let's wrap it up. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I wanted to, the guy that won something, email me. And like I said, I want to thank everybody who came to this live stream. So I'm going to pick somebody in this live stream at random during the next live stream, and you're going to win something too, whether it's a light or I don't know what. And let me know what you want to win too. If you're more interested in like software, like Luminar 4, or, you know, what would you rather win? And realistically, I can only give what I get, right? I don't have $1 million yet. So let's leave it at that, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining us. This is fun and awesome. And don't worry, Sev, thanks for coming, bud. But you can rewatch this whole thing on YouTube, and whenever they process it and stuff. We covered a lot today. And thanks so much for your questions, guys. And it's awesome to chat and connect with you guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, for your chance to win all this stuff and to be part of the community. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and remember that Epstein didn't kill himself. See you next time.